10 sentences from billionaire hedge fund managers that I can't stop thinking about. We just got the official news that Jim Simons has sadly passed away. He was an absolutely incredible man, and he had some of the most profound and incredible lessons to share with us, especially in the quant side of things and just trading in general. He had, if I'm not mistaken, one of the most impressive track records ever run by a hedge fund. Obviously, now it was limited to a certain cap of liquidity that could be put actually into the hedge fund. So the actual profit-wise is not the biggest, but I think returns-wise was the biggest returns we've ever seen. It was just a legend of our time, and I've written many threads about him and taken many inspirations from him, quotes from him, and I think I even included some quotes from him in this particular video. Now, this video is going to be a bit more laid back. I'm just going to be sharing my thoughts of these quotes, what I personally resonate with these quotes, my personal takes of these quotes. Now, obviously, if you take something else from the quote, that's totally fine. I think, there's different lessons in different perspectives and different ways you word a particular sentence, and that has been incredibly true for me in my trading journey. The same subject matter can be said to me more than 5 times, but then one time a trader said it to me in a certain way and it completely clicked with me. So I think that's a very common occurrence with many traders. By the way, I'm Minir, also known as Goose Trades, and I also run unbiased trading. First, there is a time to make money and there's a time to not lose money. This is obviously a quote just about risk management being paramount. It really just emphasizes the capital preservation as a core tenet of trading. This quote always hits me in the sense that there are times in the market where I think you get really laid up into the idea that every single month I have to be, doing X return or making X amount of money. And that is a mindset that is from, traditional 9 to 5s or traditional just ways of making money. Whereas in trading, it is completely unpredictable of what month you're going to have. You could say, out of a year, you should be profitable 50% of the time. But that, you have no idea which month that's actually going to be. It could be a skew where at the end of the year, that's all your months were going to be more profitable. So things like that are just important in what I think about when I hear this kind of quote. 2 is our biggest mistake was not realizing how illiquid markets could get so quickly. Now, this was actually a quote by David Tepper. I believe it was about one of his trades in a certain market where he had a big position on, and that market rapidly started to become illiquid, and he actually got caught in quite a lot of slippage from trying to exit that market. Now, personally for me, obviously I'm not trading incredible size, but the way this quote really tells me is understanding the importance of liquidity in any position. Even for us smaller traders, if you're going to trade in a liquid market like maybe OTCs or things like that, it is actually quite easily possible to get stuck in, get some really horrendous slippage if you're not aware of how liquidity is changing in the market. So this is just always a classic point to me where I think there's another great Jim Simons quote on this topic that he trades he'll trade anything that's liquid, he can extract data from and model over, I believe, if I'm not paraphrasing that quote too badly. And it's just a core tenet really that you need in actual trading. Now, obviously, you can actually have an edge in a liquid market, but you need to be prepared and understand how you can actually quantify that and understand your risk there when you are in a liquid market. There's no such thing as a goose that lays the golden egg forever. Now, this was also actually by Jim Simons, and this is really just on the point that no edge will ever stay, forever. You could have edges that, come back, every once in a while. So those can be pretty consistent, but, there's no strategy that's going to be able to produce you amazing returns just consistently every single year for the rest of your life. I think a lot of people believe that once they harness the skill of one strategy, they can apply that for the rest of their trading career. That is totally not what trading is, at least in my opinion. I personally think it's more the skills of actually being able to identify those inefficiencies or edges, and then actually creating those strategies around them, and then everything that goes in with a strategy, execution, risk management, all those kind of things. And I think this is just such an important quote to remind yourself that even if things are going well now, you should be looking for your next strategy or your next kind of inefficiency at all times, because that is the key thing that to actually keep you in the game as well. Look for patterns where on average all the models of an out of sample continue to do well. You're doing well if the average of the out of sample models is a significant percentage of the in sample score. Now, this was a pretty loaded quote, but I think it tapped on a couple of things that I really wanted to mention here. And I also know it's not the most understandable quotes, and even when I was reading it a couple times, I was like 100% getting his message. But this is a quote by Jaffray Woodruff, if I'm not mispronouncing his name. And really, it stresses the importance of backtesting, avoiding overfitting, and really the importance of out of sample data. So, in sample data is where we're training the particular strategy variables on that in sample data, whereas out of sample data is where we're testing those values on data that hasn't been optimized over. And what he's trying to say here is that out of all your models, the out of sample should continue to do well. And if you see that, as well as the average of the out of sample models is a significant percentage of the in sample score, so just basically the performance metrics of the in sample, then that's a very, very good sign. And that's probably something that you can really pursue as a strategy when you're setting it live, or if you're going to do forward testing or things like that. So this was a heavy quote, but the main things really the takeaway, on at least on my perspective, is the importance of out of sample data, backtesting, and really helping us avoid overfitting and what to really look for. Almost anybody can make up a list of rules that are 80% as good as what we taught people. What they couldn't do is give them the confidence to stick to those rules even when things are going bad. And this is a quote by Richard Denson. He was a Total Trader and created the Total Traders. Now, I think there's a couple of ways people could actually take this tweet. People could think about it that it's about discipline, it's about emotional control, all those kind of things. My perspective, now obviously I'm more data-based, so this is a different view of it. I more see it is that conviction and confidence is the most important thing you can have in a strategy, and the best way to have conviction or confidence is to have data that shows you that that strategy is actually profitable. Now, in the sense of these total traders, they had the confidence knowing that Richard Dennis was a person they could see right in front of them that had a track record using the strategy, which in essence is kind of just like a live backtest, basically, showing that that strategy could actually work. Now, obviously, we're not all, going to be fortunate enough. Richard Dennis standing right behind us, saying this strategy is completely profitable. So, in my ways of looking at it, I think it just stresses also the importance of really testing your strategy over a good amount of time. And you want to have as much conviction and confidence in your strategy as possible, as that's only going to help improve execution, which will then obviously just improve performance as you're sticking to the model. I discovered that it was much better to use multiple models than a single best model. Now, this is a quote on diversification. Through combining multiple strategies, reducing the reliance on any single factor or performance, as well as reducing drawdowns as the overall performance gets equaled out by those different types of strategies, whether they be mean reversion and trend following, for example. And this quote is also by Woodruff, which if you haven't looked up any of his stuff, I really would recommend it. He's got some really good quotes and kind of just I guess general resources online and interviews about him, which he's shared actually some decent information. Now this is the classic thing of like a group of uncorrelated strategies is going to do better than trying to find one golden strategy, and this just really nails that home again. We don't override the models. Now, this is by Jim Simons, and such a simple but elegant quote by the legend himself. Now, the main importance of this statement is that if you do override your models, you're making it no longer a scientific method of where you can really accurately test and repeatedly test how those models are actually performing. If you're changing them every 2 weeks and you're trying to compare it to the backtest, it's going to be a very difficult process to actually scientifically look at those and compare the results. So I would recommend to never override the models and change a single trade or anything like that, because that will only damage performance and will only damage long-term growth, at least in my perspective, because you're never going to be able to accurately see what is potentially going wrong, or if this strategy is just not profitable, or if you're overfitting it every single time because you're changing it. I want tension to create change. Change is necessary to evolve. Now, when I hear this tweet by Ken Griffin, this is mainly just the idea of embracing struggle. And this is something I've noticed over trading is the worst periods of times for my trading have normally led to the best period of times. Now, there obviously has been a lag there. Like I remember when I took a really big loss, that was about 2 weeks where I felt just completely bummed out. I really didn't want to do, well, I knew I wanted to be a trader, but I didn't think it was actually going to be possible. So through those 2 weeks, I was completely bummed out, really, questioning everything. And then probably 2 months later, after a lot of work, because I was, got remotivated back into it, I was able to start getting consistency again, and I had learned a key skill from that period of struggle. Now, that isn't every time, though. Like, that would kind of be the sweet truth. The realistic truth is there were also many other times where I went through struggle and I did not actually improve at all until the third or fourth time making that same mistake. So I guess you could say, every time I microly improved, but realistically, sometimes it does actually take a lot of struggling to get enough tension where it really creates that change, where you find out and you explore different things to see what actually works. Don't be a hero, don't have an ego, always question your ability. Don't ever feel that you are very good. The second you do, you're dead. Now, this is a legendary quote by Paul Tudor Jones, and I can't resonate enough with this particular quote. This was a core issue for me back in the day. I remember I made, I think it was like 1,000 in like a week or something back in the early part of my trading, and I had the hugest ego for that week. I thought, yes, I finally cracked it. I was really consistent this week, and next week, Monday, after the weekend, I pretty much lost pretty much all of it. I think it was about 80% of that profit from the previous week. And that has been a cycle that has happened to me many times. So this is a quote that really hits home for me, and I think it's just the idea that if you can be calm at the highs and also calm at the lows, I think that just normally produces the best rational thinking and also the most progress, because you are not going in a up and down loop of being overconfident and underconfident and overconfident and underconfident. Now obviously that's a lot harder to do than it is to just say, but that's something that I've been continuously walking towards and trying to detach as much as possible I can from the actual result itself and just focusing on the long term of the actual portfolio and the strategies. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and share it with anyone else who might be interested.